Okay.
Welcome back to OpenLine. Talking all about Metro Schools. We have with us the Director of Schools, Dr. Shawn Joseph. He's taking your calls, answering our questions. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's go to Ann. Hello, Ann.
Hi. You mentioned your grant for several $1 million and the initiation of magnet programs, but specifically they were mostly elementary programs. Those were magnet programs. Where will those students go at the middle school, since there are not magnets already started at that level for those students?
That's a great question. So one of the things we did last year was we actually have been looking at our middle schools. So we have 18 middle schools right now that have a STEAM focus, STEAM being science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We reduced the ratio of technology to about a 1-to-2 ratio at those 18 schools, and we're training teachers to really change how they're teaching, integrating technology and helping kids get excited about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So these 5 elementary schools are all STEAM elementary. So the thought would be that any middle school that they went to, they would already be exposed to the integration of the arts and mathematics and science and be able to move to those middle schools. But with the middle schools, we're really looking at increasing rigor and changing curriculum and putting a lot of professional development in schools. 18 last year, we're going to add 18 schools, I believe, this year, or maybe 10 schools this year, and then the remaining 12 schools in the third year. So in a 3-year period, all schools will have more training. So those kids will be well prepared for a STEAM environment at the middle school level after experiencing what they're going through at the elementary.
Thank you, Ann. Good question. When we look at this transition team report, one of the things being a ton of recommendations when you first came in 18 months ago. De-emphasize within state guidelines the use of test scores to determine teacher effectiveness. This is something teachers had some concerns about.
They did.
Where are you with that, using test scores on teacher evaluations?
Yeah, so that's a state law, so we can't do a lot about that. But what I've been communicating to teachers is, what I care about is growth. Do we know where our students are when they come to you? And over the course of the year, are they growing at a rate that we would expect them to grow or advance? We have our vision says we want to be the fastest improving district in the country. And the only way to do that is if we're growing kids. So we have assessments now to help us measure where kids are in reading and math when they come to us, and we measure them 3 times a year to see whether they're growing. And that's what I want to pay attention to. But we're working closely with our teachers union to talk about how we measure teacher effectiveness within the guidelines of the law.
How do you think the relationship is? It's a tough job. There's some turnover. Mm-hmm. What are you doing, I guess, to prevent the turnover and and working with the teachers?
Yeah, so I've been working closely with our teachers union since I've got here. When I came in, I said, you can't improve by being top down and working on the backs of teachers. You have to work with them. And my commitment to collaboration, has been there. And I think most teachers would agree that have interacted with us and are engaging there. But it's important work. It's hard work. But the only way we're going to move forward is if we do it together. I mean, I'm concerned. We've raised a lot of expectations. I mean, again, we've addressed 90 out of 121 recommendations. Whenever you have 90 new things happening or 90 things that you're pushing on, I mean, you're increasing expectations, and there's a dynamic in the culture that you have to acknowledge. I mean, I am concerned about, again, we had 100 vacancies this year, and particularly in math and in science. At the secondary level, I mean, there were those challenges there where we had substitutes instead of teachers. I mean, we luckily found a law on the books that said if you're a college professor and you were, I believe, taught successfully for at least 2 or 3 years, we could hire you to teach in our content areas. And we brought in about 30 or 40 teachers that are teaching at the community colleges and the universities around the area into our district this year. But we've got to think about long term what we do. And we have started paying attention to culture within the district. I mean, one of the transition report recommendations said that I actually needed a culture czar, is what they recommended when I came in. So, you know, we didn't have any data for me to hold on to, so we actually established a survey, a climate survey that we gave to parents. We're going to give to parents this fall, this spring, but we did survey teachers and survey students last fall, and each school actually has feedback on their climates. So now I can monitor that and help come up with plans to do something about it. And we're actually going to
culture czar, and that's interesting. So that what does that mean when you look at the climate of the school? You mean their favorability, like just is it a
yeah? So looking at a lot of different domains. Actually, this week, at the end of this week, we're actually going to send out to parents information to let them know where they can look up their school's culture and climate, at least what the teachers have said, what the students have said, and this spring they'll get surveys so we can get feedback, and we're asking our schools based upon this climate data to actually develop plans to make sure. So we're looking at things like, are students engaged? Do students like the schools? What are parents' perceptions of the schools? How do teachers feel? Do teachers have resources? Do teachers feel valued? We're monitoring all of that, because now we can have specific conversations. You know, when I looked at the data, and we just completed it recently, you know, it clearly shows we've got a lot of work to do. But now that we're clear about what we're looking at and we're monitoring it, you know, it'll get better over time. It's a continuous improvement process, and you know, I'm a big believer in having the data to really have those meaningful conversations, so we can get better, and we can track, are we getting better or not?
Right. Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, essentially wrap everything up. Come back right after this.